let's talk about codependency.
Do you know what? Even sometimes that word even triggers me. It's a really weird one because you can be hyper independent and codependent at the same time for different reasons. And obviously, it is a trauma response. And that's what we have to be aware of. Like all this shit we give ourselves shame for and we shame other people for. 99.9% of it all is trauma responses. And really, if you look at it, it's just a load of fucked up kids running around in adults' bodies that never recovered from the wounded childhood that they actually had. And it's really fucking sad. When we ask ourselves questions like if you are a codependent person or if you struggle being on your own, and you ask yourself why do you feel alone? Why do you get alone? Is it because we rely on others to emotionally regulate us? Or is it because we're so used to tailoring to everyone else's emotions or those specific emotions around us that we feel purposeless without doing that? Do we not have enough self-worth and self-value to be helpful and productive for ourselves so that we use the excuse of when they're there, we'll do it? Or, like that same old excuse, or it's hard cooking tea for one. There's no point cooking tea for one, cooking a meal for one. But yet, we'll cook it for someone else and happily make that meal for them. But we won't put that time and effort and energy and love into cooking it just for us. Is that because we don't value ourselves enough? And does that apply to everything else then in life? That when it's not for someone else, we don't put the same energy and effort and prioritisation in. Or the same love. And what if we never felt safe growing up? So what if as a child you felt maybe physically safe, but emotionally there was that lack of stability, safety, comfort, validation? So in this adult version of you cling on to a partner, a friend, someone that makes you feel safe or secure emotionally, validates your emotional needs. So that's why we're becoming a cycle of dependency, of regulation of their emotion. The point I'm trying to make is, if I can even remember myself, being codependent is it's not the best thing, obviously, but it's not a bad thing, and it's not something we should look at with shame and judgment of self. We should look at it for what it really is. And it's a multifaceted response to trauma. To not feeling emotionally safe as a child, to not feeling safe within the root chakra. And if the root chakra doesn't feel safe, it's going to always search for security wherever it can find it, wherever it can look for it, whether that's in a friend group, a work environment, a relationship. It's going to cling on to any form of security and safety and emotional validation, even if that can come in toxic ways. So that's why we can become codependent to toxic situations, jobs, relationships, because it provides us with a familiar sense of security. So the inner child would rather go with the familiar sense of security than the unknown potential of complete aloneness, complete abandonment.